Look, 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 look. Ah! Hi guys, what's up? I'm back for a little bit. I just wanted to make this quick little impromptu video. I fell a little bit short of my ambitious goal, but I still think I can make some good content for you guys. Here it is. Part of the project I was working on. It's not quite finished yet, but this crankshaft is very strong, very powerful. Many new inventors might need a crankshaft to turn motor movement into back and forth. It's a common factory principle, a crankshaft. And you might be working on one. Now, you might not know that you don't need a lathe or a mill to make something like this. All you need is a drill press. You start by making something like this. These discs can be made with a hole saw. They're like $20 at a hardware store. They look like this. They're really nice. Because otherwise you'd have to use a lathe for something like that, and even then it's an annoying process. Oh, something this thin might not even be something you could lathe. That's not what I'm here to talk about. The order of operations for making this piece are: start with a steel plate on your drill press table, and then after you've cut it out, then you'll have a 1/4-inch hole in the center from the hole saw, and that's the center point you'll use as a guide with a 1/2-inch drill, a 1/2-inch drill bit. Now after you drill the 1/2-inch hole in the center, you're going to file a little square space right here for a key shaft, so you can put a key in there and line everything up nice and good. That's probably the easiest way to do it. You don't have to do it exactly that way. You could mount some hardware on there that's keyed, and that's a little bit more pricey, but there are other ways you could do it if you so desire. I probably didn't need to press these bearings into these. But I might be using this as a portfolio for a job application. Pressing bearings is a very common task in machine shops, depending on where you go. So, wish me luck on that. You don't need to do that. A simple 1/4-inch hole should be plenty for that. And then I guess you'll rivet these in place. You can use a bolt with threads if you want to, but this simple crankshaft design is not balanced. Now, if you have if you're turning it slowly, it doesn't really need to be balanced. They always balance crankshafts for internal combustion, but that's something different. If you want to use a crankshaft for internal combustion, you should watch somebody else. This one's more of a for beginner inventors who might be building things in their garage. They might be able to collect some insights from me. That's what this is intended for. Whew. That, and I recommend you tighten the chain a little bit. You probably noticed that at the beginning. It's going all over the place. If I intended to use this for anything long-term, anything more than an early prototype, it's easy to get tensioner sprockets. I was worried about weight budget, and I was just learning things from this design. That's why I didn't tighten that. Zora is a good place for that. I also like to use MC Master Car. They're wonderful websites. Oh, and sprockets. Sprockets are very important for new inventors, because a gearbox is essential to get different torques and RPM from your motor at a certain... motors typically only have one speed. Now, granted, we're using a drill motor and you've got variable torque applications. You've got the switch that Adjust the input and the speed. But that's a rare case. Most of the motors you're going to be working with are either on or off. As such, you're going to need a gearbox to switch between different applications. Now, where do you get gears from? I never had a good answer for that. Dad told me they used to make windmills out of wood back in the day. You should just make some gears out of wood. You've got wood and do it. He makes it sound easy, but a lot of complicated math goes into gear making. You could get a stencil and work from there somewhat if you're a talented woodworker and you've got the time for it. But if you don't, I strongly recommend just buying sprockets because as long as they're the same chain size, they're completely interchangeable and you have a lot of application there. Good selection from a variety of websites. One of them's bound to be local for you. There's one aluminum orange. I think that one's for Europe. I used them and the shipping took a long time, but I think that's because they're international. If you're in the US, Zorro and MC Mastercar are very good for me. There are others. Let's see, did I cover everything? Oh, for this one, I used 2 sides because I think that's better application of force. In many cases, maybe you'll be able to use just the one side, but I'm putting a lot of weight into this one, in the vicinity of 150 half-inch pounds, which would be 300 inch pounds. That's right, isn't it? I'm doing it very fast. Please don't yell at me in the comments. Yeah, about 300 inch pounds of torque onto that little thing. I wanted to evenly distribute the force, so I used 2 sides. You might be able to get away with just one. Oh, yes, the discs. If you want the holes to line up on multiple discs, you should stack them and drill them all at once after filing the keyed shaft. And then you can put a keyed shaft and axle into the assembly, put the whole thing in the vise, and just drill the hole all at once. That'll save you a lot of time. I recommend doing it that way. That's how I did it, and the results are very satisfying. That's it. Glad to be back, and hopefully next iteration of this project will be successful. I can tell you guys all about it. I'm working on something, I promise. Take care, guys. Peace.